Hi, hello, good morning. Welcome to my channel. It's good to have you here. Welcome to Moments with Tony. I'm sure you already know that this is a channel for special education, faith, family, and support. So please click on the subscribe button so that you get notification anytime there's a new video. Please subscribe. Don't watch this alone. Share with your family and friends, and so that every other person can get firsthand a resource for special education and anything special education. Okay, welcome to my channel once again. So today, this morning, I thought to share um it's very simple, but it's kind of um an expectation of us parents on our children. Yes, the kind of expectations we place on our children. And without taking so much of your time, I think I'll just go straight into the video and share my thoughts as regards expectations of our parents with concerning their children who need extra help and extra attention. Okay, yes, I know that we parents can be very, you know, demanding. I'm a parent of 3 children. We all want our children to be the best, to do the best, have the best grade, get all the awards and all of that, which is good and great. Yes, because that makes you a proud parent. It shows that you're doing a good job, right? Yes. But most times we ask for too much, especially when we have children with special needs. We need to take it slow. Like my Nigerian people will say, you need to calm down. Yes, you need to calm down. You need to take it slow on your child. You need to take it easy on your child. For crying out loud, you already know that the child needs extra help, right? So why are you stressing? Why are you fussing over, the milestones, the achievements that the child hasn't been able to attain as a result of their, learning disabilities or physical disabilities? What you're supposed to be doing is you keep encouraging, hoping that definitely someday the child will hit the milestone or the expectation that you have set for them. But it's also very important for you to also realize that their timeline is not your timeline, so you need to take it easy on yourself. And for when you put so much stress and pressure on them, you're equally stressing out yourself. You're getting frustrated because they're probably not delivering what you want them to achieve. They're not giving you what you expect of them, and so in turn you get stressed, you get frustrated. So like I said, today I'm just going to be touching on the expectations of parents with special needs. Like you all know, all I do here is special education, faith, family, and support. So if you need my support, if you need help for a one-on-one session or tutoring, please feel free, go in the comment below and then you would get my details. Yeah. So now I like to make things very simple because for parents with special needs, you don't need too much information. You just want straight answers, straight resources, and so that you can get going. You already have a lot you have to deal with. So I quite understand that I'm not going to, take so much of your time. But like I said, expectations of parents who have special needs children. So this is it. First and foremostly, you need to adjust your expectations. Yes, you need to adjust your expectations. I know that you want your child to succeed. We know all of that. Yes, all parents, our desires and our aspirations for our children is to succeed academically, emotionally, socially, and all of that. So, but you need to adjust your expectations of your child. What do I mean by adjusting your expectations of your child? So, for example, for children with special needs, we all know that, for let's use that for example, a child between the ages of 3 to probably 6 months or 6 to 9 months is expected that at least by age 3, the child, at 3 months, the child should be able to make sounds and all of that. That's not happening. Maybe at this point. And then the child is 9 months, maybe you expect some body movements, trying to crawl. I did this birth child thing like 4 years ago. So pardon me if I don't get the exact months for each milestone, but I know you get the gist, right? Yes. Okay. So in 3 months to 6 months, there are certain things the child should have attained, and the child isn't there yet. For me, that's a sign for you as a parent to be able to say, okay, I think this child isn't hitting the milestones as expected. You should be worried. Then you should ask for help. You need to go to the rightful people to get the help that the child needs. It could be therapy, it could be, which is pretty much what that child would need. But what I'm trying to say is, if, for example, now the child is now 1 year old and the child isn't still making sounds, right? You're still worried. You're trying your best. You've gotten the opinion of a therapist, a speech therapist, a physiotherapist, and all of that. All these people are working with you to get your child there. There's a very huge possibility that at the time you get all of these people to come in to work with you or to help your child hit these milestones, in your head you have a time frame, like you say, okay, give or take, say 2 months, hopefully with the therapist working with my child, the child should be able to speak, talk clearly. Yes, in your head, that's what you're thinking. In 3 months, my child should be able to speak, talk clearly. And if the child isn't working, probably in 3 months, my child should be working. Now, this is for the age of maybe 1. And so in your head, you already have 3 months, right? And the therapist is busy doing her work and, gradually. But because you have 3 months in your head, the 3 months mark hits and the child isn't there. The child isn't delivering what you thought should have happened. Now you're stressed. So that's what I mean by adjusting your expectations. So if in 3 months the child is in there, you will need to do what? Move that timeline forward, which could be another 3 or 6 more months, weeks, yeah? It could also be months. So that's what I mean by adjusting your expectations. So if you don't do that, you are going to be under so much pressure. And you put yourself there. The child didn't. But you know what you're doing. When you do that, you're also putting pressure on the child. And so with that kind of energy, there's a very high possibility that what you're expecting or hoping to happen in 3 months is not likely to happen. And so that's where you need to adjust your expectations. Take things easy on yourself. Be kind to yourself. You are not the one who created the child. God did. Okay? So that's my other side. God did. But whilst you're trying to get there, you need to be at peace. You need to adjust your expectation for the child and grow and learn in the process, because there's a reason for, you having that child. It's not by accident that you have a child who you need to give extra attention or extra help to. So that's me saying adjust your expectation. The timelines are different for every child. You don't see other children speaking and talking and then you keep doing comparison. We all have our different times. Everybody has their time and everybody has their season, like you already know. The same also applies to your child. While they are trying to get and hit the milestones that you desire in your heart, and that is also expected for their age group. So you need to adjust your expectation. So now the next thing I would also like to touch on is behavioral issues. You are supposed to expect behavioral issues with your child. Children with any form of learning disabilities are most likely, going to have behavioral issues, which means tantrum, crying, emotional breakdown. When you change their environment, there's a tendency for them to react. Now, this has to be that autism or certain learning disabilities most times are on a spectrum. So it could be high, it could be middle, it could be low. Okay, so that depends on what's the severity, what the severity of the learning disability or physical disability is. So there are likely to be behavioral issues. And so to think that your child is throwing a tantrum, or to think that you expect that, okay, the child should sit down, for example. That's it. For us teachers, when you're teaching, and you expect the students in the classroom to sit still and pay attention, and the child isn't sitting still. The child is probably, getting off their seats or trying to distract other people, and those are behavioral issues. But it's not targeted at you as a teacher. It's not targeted at me, but it's one of the signs that come with autism. It is one of the signs that come with some form of learning disability for most children. It's not that the child is rude, it's not that the child is disrespectful or anything. It's just that you need to find a way to redirect that child's attention to be able to follow through in a classroom, right? Well, that's for teachers, but I'm talking to parents now. So it also applies to you as a parent. So when you see that your child is throwing tantrums at certain things that's probably not called for, you only what you are supposed to do is redirect the child's attention to something else that is of their own interest. And also, when I mean behavioral issues, to expect behavioral issues, it means that when certain display of when certain how do I put this now? When the child starts to display certain behaviors that you don't like, sitting on the floor and crying and all of that, or not asking for something before they take it and then you scold them and they break down and all of that. It's to show that you need to calm down and ask direct questions to the child, like, what do you want? Why are you crying? Calm down. Why are you crying? What do you want? And instead of you saying, what do you think I'm doing? Like we Africans, how we usually act, you scream at the child, you are just aggravating issues. It's not going to work. Sit down. You can't see all your friends, they're sitting down, they're keeping quiet. You to sit down, all of that. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't. You just need to redirect the child's attention to something else that you know that will interest them or that interests them to, calm the environment and, ease out of that mood and that moment without, you getting frustrated and, angry and all of that. And also, I must also state, not every behavioral issues or behavior that your child displays should you attack, should you try to correct. There are certain things you just have to let go. Some things you have to overlook. Some behaviors you have to ignore. If you pick at every single behavior your child displays, there's a very high possibility that yourself and your child will keep hitting heads. You don't want to have a bad relationship with your child. It doesn't matter the age, from age 3 months to, 18. Every child should have a good relationship with their parents. And so if you pick your battles, if you pick your battles and not, complain or try to correct every single, mistake or behavior that's being displayed by your child, then you're likely to be able to know that, okay, there are certain things that I would correct, and there are certain things I would just ignore and act like, I didn't see it. But you can also now address them later. Okay. So what did I say? I said behavioral issues as to be expected with children with learning disability or physical disability. And when I mean learning disability, math, reading, writing, and comprehension and all of that. But most times all of these disabilities stems from some form of autism, and some form of developmental issues from birth and all of that. That's a lot, but I'm not going to go in there. So, but I know you get the gist, right? Okay, so behavioral issues are to be expected. And so as a parent, you need to pick your battles and pick at every single thing the child does. Now, the next thing I would like to touch on is focus. Yes, you as a parent, you need to focus on the child's strength. What can the child do, not what the child cannot do. It's amazing how you feel good when somebody gives you a compliment. It's amazing. Psychologists say that there are certain hormones that comes that you secrete when somebody gives you a compliment and you feel good about yourself, right? That's exactly what you should do with your child, regardless of their abilities. This has got nothing to do with a learning disability or a physical disability. Everybody and everyone deserves and requires that you should focus on their strength. Pay attention to the amazing things that they can do, because they do have certain unique qualities and abilities that you don't have, that I don't have. But if you are open, if you are in a place of peace and you engage the child, you are likely to find the child's strength and build on that. So some children are very good artistically, meaning they can draw. Some children are very music inclined. If you don't take time to focus on the child as a person, not the disability. It's just like how I was talking to my children yesterday. We were having a Bible study, and we're talking about Joshua, but that's a bit just not to go off point. But I made an example of, when someone does something bad, because my son was asking how why does God give bad people certain things? Is it okay to give bad people certain things even after they've acted in a wrong way? So I had to, go into this. And so this is me saying the behavior is not the person, it's the action. So the action God is angry with, but the person is not bad. Okay? So now the learning disability of the child doesn't make the child less a human being, or should be, because the child has a learning disability. It means that the child can't function in other ways. I hope you get my gist, what I'm trying to say, right? Because you are looking at the child as a whole and you're seeing disability. There is more to the child. So when I was trying to use the analogy of being bad and how God treats us, God loves us as human beings because we are created in his likeness. But there are times when we do certain things that upset him. He's not mad at us. He's mad at actions that we have displayed. Okay? He loves us as human beings, but he hates the action. Okay? So the child who has a learning disability, right? The learning disability doesn't make the child less. The learning disability of the child shouldn't make the child less loved. It's just one part of the child. I don't know if you get my drift, but the learning disability is not what the child is made up of. There's more, but you need to be able to see the more in the child to be able to say, okay, I think this is just one part of my child that, the child struggles in. There are other parts of my child that is good. And that's where you as a parent, you need to focus and pay attention to what your child does on a daily basis, especially when you have a child who needs extra help. So I'm going to do a quick recap because it's supposed to be a short video so that you don't sit through while you have other things to do. Yeah. So, like I said, first things first, as parents, you need to adjust your expectation of your child. Timelines are good, schedules are good, routines are good to be able to say, okay, in this time frame, this is what we're able to achieve. But it's also okay to move things around. It's also okay to adjust the time. We all have different times in our lives. We don't have the same time schedule with God. Things happen for everybody differently. And so to take the pressure off you as a parent and put you in a place of peace and calm, you need to adjust the expectations of your child. Caprice? Secondly, I would also like to, like I said, is expect behavioral issues from children with learning disability, because yes, it will come to that. So when you know that you have a child with a learning disability, the tantrums, the emotional breakdown, the screaming, yes, the noise, some children can't stand noise, and all of that, you need to be aware of them and then pick your battles. You don't try to correct every mistake, every behavioral issue or behavior issues that the child displays. Pick your battles so that you can still keep a wonderful and cordial relationship with your child. That's very important. And then lastly, I said focus on the child's abilities, not their disabilities. Their abilities are awesome. Children with special needs have unique abilities that we need to be patient enough to find it. And when we do, they can do and they will do amazing things. Okay? So we are more similar than we're different. Okay? We all have the same needs, the same desires as parents, but how we get there needs to be checked. We need to get to those expectations and those desires in peace, in joy. And so I'm one instructional coach that tries to tell parents while we're trying to hit the milestone, you can still be at peace, you can still be joyful. Nothing should take away your peace. Okay? That's very important for me. Peace while raising your child and while getting to the milestone and the destination of success for the child. Okay, this is me saying thank you for listening. I hope I was able to, encourage you and to share one or two tips with you on what to expect as a parent who has a child with special needs. Okay, so thank you so much. Like I said, click the subscription button so that you get the notification anytime there's a new video that comes out. So thank you, and thank you for spending time with me on Moments with Tony, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.